Welcome to the Terminal Exchange, the official podcast of Nussbaum Transportation, where we explore key issues and compelling stories in the trucking industry. I'm your host, Dayton Rumbold, and you're listening to episode 107, Keeping It Classy, with Emilio Scott. You've heard it said, dress for success, and Emilio's no exception. From his truck to his shoes, Emilio shows dedication to excellence. To learn more about Emilio and his life and his dedication to excellence, tune in now to this featured exchange. Welcome back to Terminal Exchange, episode 107. We got Emilio Scott in the house today.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. He came, he delivered. Talking about driving young and classy today. Young and classy. I mean, you're not that young, but if you want to disclose, how young are you?
So I'm 27.
Yeah?
Yep.
And you've been driving for how many years?
I believe it's been 6.5 years now with Nussbaum.
Okay.
It's been great.
Good deal. Excited to have Emilio on today. A lot of people, you see him. You've already made your way onto one of the trucks. You're on one of the graphics for the trucks. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not everyone
Very blessed.
gets to do that. And I think there's a lot to be said for your safety, the way that you take care of your truck, the way that you care for others. You're very connected to a lot of people here at the office and other drivers, and that's hard to do, and that's something that I learned from. So I was really excited for this to pick your brain a little bit on the way that you think and the way that you look at trucking and just life in general. I think we'll talk about some of that stuff and what makes you tick. So thanks for being on here today.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, appreciate it. So Emilio, tell me a little bit about your family background, where you're from, and how you got here today.
Yeah, so I was adopted in an orphanage at 4 years old. It was either 4 or 4.5. And I was adopted with me and my middle brother were adopted at a later time. So I should have said my oldest brother, he was adopted first, and I was born in, I think my mom said Veliki Praslav, Bulgaria.
Oh, wow.
Which is in the city or country of Sofia, Bulgaria.
Mm-hmm.
So we were adopted, and me and my middle brother, we were adopted around 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
And when 9/11 happened, we were stuck. I can't remember where, but we were stuck because of 9/11.
Really?
And we couldn't make it back to the States. And I feel for my mom because it was just mom down that second trip that got us.
Mm-hmm.
And, apparently we were all screaming and everything else,
Yeah.
and just freshly adopted. But then 9/11 happened and we couldn't go back into the States. I don't remember hardly anything. I do remember one moment where my middle brother was pushing me in this toy Jeep, driving.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. But other than that, so I do have a middle brother. He's about 6 months older than I am. And then I have my oldest brother, I believe he's about 30, 31.
Okay.
So,
okay. Cool.
And then my first place of living in the States was Hayworth, Illinois.
Okay.
And I went to Hayworth Elementary up until 6th grade. And then I started Prairie Central in Forest, Illinois. It's junior high. And when I started 7th grade there and moved to Fairbury, Illinois.
Okay. You went there, and I've heard that you worked at Dave's Supermarket.
Yep.
Is that right? The world famous
Yep.
Dave's?
Good old Dave's. I love it. I started there in high school and was a carry-out boy, and very thankful for that job.
Okay.
And the community.
And then how'd you go from working at Dave's to truck driving? Was that something you just, made that transition? They're pretty different, different place.
Well, I just like to drive and drive, you know,
Yeah.
and got a CDL and I wanted to make use of it.
Okay.
So
Did you get your CDL with in mind that you would come to Nussbaum, or how'd that happen? How'd you get
I
to
did not. I got my CDL in mind I'd be driving for somebody, but not Nussbaum actually.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm very thankful that it ended up being Nussbaum.
Okay. Who'd you start off driving for? Or like you didn't think about, you came straight to Nussbaum.
Correct. I started, I got my CDL when I was 18 years old.
Okay.
But, the whole thing of insurance companies not taking you until you're 21 at that time being. And then I did get to drive a diesel pusher motorhome once.
Mm-hmm.
That was exciting. Other than that, at the time being, it was Heartland Community College Truck Driving School that one of my night instructor guys kept hinting that Nussbaum was the place to be.
Okay.
And I believe his name was Roger, but very good guy.
Okay. And you said you drove a what home? A
Motorhome.
oh, motorhome.
Yep, from CIT Trucks, I do believe, actually.
Okay. Really?
Must have been getting serviced on and got to drive it up to Pontiac RV,
Mm-hmm.
which is where I worked before I came here to Nussbaum.
Okay. Cool. And so you kind of got your feet wet in that, and you're
Yeah.
like, I like this. I could get used to being behind the wheel.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
It kind of appealed to you.
yeah.
And I assumed at that time you just came out and you of like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be classy about it. I'm going to wear bow ties,
Absolutely.
right? Like,
Yeah.
how many bow ties do you have?
So I'd had 2, but recently I bought a 3rd one, so
Okay.
now we're at 3. Actually, I have a Christmas festive one, so I guess you could count that as 4.
Okay. Cool.
But they all coordinate with Nussbaum colors, so
If you don't mind, show off to the camera some of your swag you got on today. I mean, even your watch matches
I got
the
the Apple
Nussbaum.
Watch, and the gray pants here, the Nussbaum socks. And yeah, it's just great. I love it. I love being able to match our company colors
Yeah.
and make it presentable and
Yeah.
professional looking,
Right. I don't know if anyone does it like you do in that way.
Yeah.
You're very classy,
Yeah.
and I don't match my colors like that. I don't wake up and think about that. But, even your shoes, you're like, hey, I got these for Christmas. I got these dudes, and they're matched to the blacked out truck.
Correct. Yeah, you guys don't see it today, but normally I would have my older red Hey Dudes that are on, but it's cold right now here at the Hudson Terminal, very cold and
Very
freezing.
cold.
And so I got my winter boots on,
Yeah.
and they actually match a little bit too, so not
Okay.
too bad.
That's sweet. Yeah, everything. You showed me you had the socks, Nussbaum socks, the tie, you had the red jacket.
Yeah.
It's all pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good feeling.
Yeah, that's cool. So you've been driving for a couple of years. You said 18, you got your CDL,
Yep.
18, 27 now. So that's a good amount of time. First thing that came through my head is how has it changed since you first started? And have you gotten burnt out at all? Is that something you felt? Or how do you find energy and joy for driving?
I don't know that it's really changed too much as far as I can tell. Maybe more DOT regs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's been tweaked a little bit. And I find joy knowing that God is in control at
Yeah.
all times,
Yeah.
and that gives me a lot of peace and joy
Yeah.
and happiness, and being able to work for a company that honors that
Mm-hmm.
in front and center is pretty humbling.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, and as far as getting burnt out on driving, I'm very thankful for what I'm doing here at Nussbaum, which is Central Illinois Regional Board.
Yeah.
So just the neighboring states, I don't have to go too far. I'm very thankful for that position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to think that mission and values didn't make much of a difference. I thought a company slaps on a mission and values, and that it's kind of the caboose to their company, I think the more I've seen it, it is more of like an engine that runs the company, like having a good mission, statement, values. That stuff is really what sets the pace for the rest of the company. Like if you have good leadership, and it trickles down, but if you have bad leadership, then it trickles down. So
also, when you wake up every morning thanking God for a new day, and all the many blessings that He has provided, and just gives me a lot of peace and joy.
Good.
And knowing that He's always in control everywhere I go,
Yeah. So something else about you is that you're a Christian, right?
Yeah. Certainly.
It's a pretty cool. It's a pretty big part of your life.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's getting into it. I mean, it plays into how you do your job, how you interact with people. Changes all parts of that life.
Yes.
Yeah. So you felt like you haven't gotten burnt out at all driving. You feel energized, like you believe that like God has put you here,
certainly. Yeah. Certainly. I mean, there's times, I think every driver that listens on here would, knows that you can get burnt out.
Sure.
Just because. But like I said, thankfully I don't have to travel too far before I stop to the next customer or the next drop.
Yeah.
So I'm very thankful for that position.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool to see how that plays into the way that you do your job. Your personal values. So you don't have to be a Christian. Like not everyone that works here is a Christian. And you don't have to be. It's not a qualification. But that is something that you have found beneficial. Like looking at work through that worldview of seeing things of like, okay, I have purpose. God created me like in His image, and like seeing those things, it changes how you do your job. Something we like to ask on every episode is, what does it mean for you to be purpose-driven? So if you've thought about it a little bit, what does that look like? How do you stay purpose-driven? What does it mean to be purpose-driven?
Yeah, to me, purpose-driven means to be always on your A game, and just to be just the nicest you can be to everybody. Every interaction you have, every customer, every driver, having a purpose. Being at Nussbaum is pretty awesome, to be purpose driven, and I think I pretty much said it. Yeah.
Well, you're a good representation of that. I feel like you always are on your A game. You bring your A game to a lot of stuff. I mean, just even from the way you dress.
Yeah.
Like you spent more time picking out what you were going to wear today than what I did. I didn't spend much time thinking about it. Just kind of grabbed something and went. But like you were like, okay, the bow tie, I'm gonna put the red jacket on that. Your watch, stuff like that. It's like the extra little bit of care. I feel like that's admirable. I mean, that's something that is good. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, a little side note, fun fact: every day, I already have every day pre-planned out for the exact uniform. So
really.
Yep, this is Mondays and Fridays look.
Okay.
So soon I'm hoping it'll be a Wednesday look too.
A Wednesday look. And then you even mentioned how you got a new bow tie, the black bow tie. When's that going to come out?
So I've already been wearing it a few times here and there, but that is Wednesday's outfit right now, the red with the black.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Yep, I like to have my clothes pre filled in my bag for the week, so the next day's clothes are already right there, ready to go.
Yeah. Great segue into a question I wanted to ask was, how do you, on the road, how do you plan out your trips, and how do you plan out your day? How do you plan out your meals, what you wear? How do you do that?
Yeah, pretty much I just look at my load assignment, and I was always trained to do, 50 mile per hour rule, so I do that.
Yeah.
And then look at, what's traffic doing ahead, what's the weather doing ahead, and pair everything up, make sure everything matches, and And that's kind of how I do it. I mean, other drivers might do it differently. If I see something that's not in the ordinary bubble of where I go, I'm in my atlas looking.
Yeah.
Bridge clearance, low clearances, bridge heights. That's pretty much the same thing, but restricted routes.
What about meals? Do you plan that out?
Meals I'm not the best on.
Yeah.
But I definitely try to eat out of my own truck.
Mm-hmm.
I try to buy a lot of my meals from Dave's in Fairbury.
Shout out to Dave's.
Yes, Dave's is great. And kind of go off of that, the pre-made meals that they have back there. I also go to Hy-Vee.
Mm-hmm.
They have the same thing going on. If Dave's for some reason doesn't have what I want or like, so I try to keep it local though. Dave's, I try to support all of our local community. So very thankful for the Fairbury community and the people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, planning's tough because it's something you don't have to do. Like, you could get by without planning anything, maybe get by. Is planning really worth it? I mean, like, is it something that do you find value in that?
It's definitely worth it. I mean, I was always taught know before you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's a key element, and sometimes your plans change as a driver.
Right. All the time.
When you don't realize it's gonna or think it's gonna happen, things change. So you got to roll with the punches and start fresh again.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
So, yeah,
being able to be flexible, but looking ahead does make a difference on your day.
Yeah.
Looking ahead, knowing what you're doing, where you're going, being prepared. Yeah, even laying out your clothes for the next day can help.
Yeah.
So
certainly. Yeah. I like to be organized. I always tell my driver friends that everything's got a spot in the truck, and if it's not in that spot, something's going on.
Yeah.
So everywhere, every item in the truck has got a place for it.
Okay. Good. You're very organized.
Yeah.
Truck. You know when something's out of place.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I was to move a pencil, you'd know that.
I would know. Yeah.
You sure?
Yep. I would even know if a shop tech took my tractor into the shop by the way the wheel position is.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got the eyes on it.
Yeah. I'm very detail oriented, you could say.
Yeah. You could say that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. How do you, this is a question I got from Jared Fair. I asked him, like, hey, what should I ask Emilio? He said, how do you find a place to shower, find a rest stop that's not, quote unquote, he said nasty, but like, how do you find a place that's, a good place to stop? How do you find a good place to shower?
Well, honestly, it's a lot from drivers that I talk to, they seem to know where the good places are, because they've had more experience out here on the highways. They know where good places are.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I'll do a love shower.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll do that and basically try to hit those up, try to do it during the day, but, sometimes the position I'm at, it's a lot of busyness going on,
Yeah.
So
it's sometimes it's put on the back burner. It's not the most immediate thing.
Yeah.
Thinking of wherever you can get to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some drivers like to do it at night, which makes sense, That way they can have all the time they want to do their shower or whatever.
Right.
So it just depends on what you want as a driver and what your load allows. So
right. Yeah, it depends on the load you got, where you're going. Another question he asked was, how do you clean your truck when it's super cold out? Today, it's freezing. You can barely walk outside without your boots freezing to the ground.
Yeah, you do it very carefully. And, I don't know. I'm always wiping. I'm always cleaning. It doesn't matter if I'm cleaning nothing, because usually it's a whole bunch of nothing that I'm wiping, but 'cause that's how clean I keep. I try to stay on top of my stuff, but so I can't really answer that too well as far as in the dead cold. But, if it was warm in the truck, just the normal way,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Yeah, if you can avoid doing it when it's negative 20 out, then
Yeah.
Wait until it gets a little bit better and you can do it the normal way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think something else about you is you're very connected to people. You lots of people, talk to many people, and it's like, hey, Emilio? Yeah, me too. Yeah. How does that happen? How do you stay connected to people? How do you do that?
I'm not sure. I think a lot of it's from the church, church family and friends and mutual friends of that. And again, like you said, just my friendly character and everything.
Yeah. You excel in approachability, and you come up to people's desk, you stop and chat.
Yeah.
You're willing to chat.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. I feel like I'm a very social guy.
Yeah. 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 It's good. And it makes it kind of a fun place to be, when you come back, usually Friday, Monday, Friday, you'll be here and, kind of make your rounds and stop by and say hey to people.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Okay. So let's move a little bit deeper. We've talked about, truck driving in general, and for you, personal life, a little bit about your family, where you grew up. Deeper, what is a piece of advice that you've gotten that you've benefited from? Do you have any advice from some mentors or people that you've really grown?
Yeah, just as far as the driving world goes, control what you can control and communicate the rest. Shout out to my trainer, AJ, who taught me that. That has really stuck to me.
Yeah.
And it really helps, as far as, staying under control and not being stressed.
Can you say that again, that quote? Control what you can control.
Yeah, control what you can control and communicate the rest.
Okay.
I feel like that would be something I could encourage to all of our drivers here at Nussbaum or any driver listening in.
And I think that beginning part, and the whole thing actually, is helpful for all parts of life. Control what you can control and communicate the rest. So that's a great advice. So that was your trainer that gave you that?
Yeah. Trainer, AJ Edgington.
Okay. Shout out.
Yeah.
Good deal. Controlling what you control is something too. Sometimes we feel like we can be out of control of life. Like, I'm not in control, or even on the road, you can, it's like, there's so many things that you can't control, and you can either focus on those things or focus on the things that you can control. So there's a book by Stephen Covey called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and he talks about that. If you focus on the things that you can control, your sphere of influence will grow, and if you focus on the things you can't control, then it shrinks. So if you focus on those things that you can do, then you'll be able to influence more, versus if you're always worrying about that car next to you or, the weather, you can't control that. But if you turn your focus on, I can control my driving, my awareness, stuff like that. Yeah, it's great. How was that experience with AJ? Good memories doing that?
Yeah, it was great. I missed it. It was great.
Okay.
All of my trainers have been great. So, very thankful for each one of them that I had.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then looking out, this is an even deeper question. What do you want to be known for? Looking at your life and looking back, what would you want your life to be known for or by?
I would like to be known as being that light, being the guy, that somebody wants to vent to, or just, if they're having a bad day, to encourage them, and
Okay, that's great. Sometimes we just want someone to talk to.
Yeah,
need that extra support, that someone is there listening, that someone cares. Just knowing that someone will even listen to you will make a big difference.
Yeah.
So
I like to make people feel known, welcome, loved. Like Scripture says. So I like to shine the light where I can.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
As far as content goes, we've gone through the majority of it. I think we're ready to play a game. Before that, one last question. when we talked about, Emilio and who you are, something else that came up too is how you're pretty money smart with, you don't make a bunch of unnecessary purchases. Is there stuff that you do with planning, saving money that you would like to give advice for? Or
honestly, I just save money where I can.
Yeah.
And that way, when I want something or like something, I have the money for it.
Okay. Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't sound bragging, but
yeah. Well, and I wanted to focus on that too, because you are younger driver compared to, the total average. And it can be easy. It's like, oh, I'm making X amount and, I can spend it on whatever. But I think it seems like you have a great perspective on that. And you're like, okay, I'll, stay frugal and make the purchases that I need to or want to, and then going from there. And I think that's an important thing, because we can easily put ourselves in a bad position by making a bad choice or something like that. So I appreciate that about you. So
yeah, no problem.
Cool. All right. You ready to play a game?
Yeah.
You ready?
Let's
ready
try
to do
it.
it?
Yeah.
All right. Game is called Hot Takes.
Okay.
I'll present some hot takes. So these hot opinions that you will agree with or you'll disagree with. All right. All right. First hot take is fruit salad is not a salad. Now, do you think fruit salad is a salad or is it not a salad?
I guess it could depend, right?
Yeah.
I would say that it's a type of salad, certainly, but I'm not sure. I think it is a salad.
Okay.
You see it at some restaurants with cranberries and everything else, and some cheeses, whatever it is on top.
But if it's just fruit, no leafy greens in it, is that a salad?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying there. I can literally see it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure on that one now.
Okay.
I would still vouch to say that it would be.
Yeah.
Just a different type.
Just be a salad.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then if that's the case, then wouldn't cereal also be a salad? Because instead of fruit, you could have fruit flavored cereal and then the dressing is milk. Do you think milk, like cereal milk, could be a salad?
I'm going to say no on that one. I'm going to say no.
Sorry. I knew you'd say no. I was just testing your, where your frame of mind is at.
Yeah.
So, okay. And these are all just opinions. There's not a right or wrong answer. Maybe cereal being a salad is probably a wrong answer. But, okay, next one. Socks should always match your outfit.
Definitely.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, good deal.
As we said earlier, I like to match, color coordinate. And in my opinion, yeah, they should.
Yeah. It's one I don't always do a good job at. So, you pulled out the Nussbaum socks and I was like, oh man, I know where Emilia's going to be on this.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bow ties are better than regular ties.
Recently, I think so. I do believe that bow ties are better. As far as the modern look, for my age group, I feel like that's kind of the more modern look. Mm-hmm. So I feel like bow ties are the move.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah, and that's a hot take. Not everyone likes the look of bow ties. I think it looks great. I like the bow tie.
Thank you.
But not everyone agrees that bow ties are great. So I think you make a good statement with that, and the red really just pops out there.
Yeah.
It's a nice touch.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's cool. Waffle fries are better than regular fries.
Well, being how I have never had waffle fries, I don't know on that one. So
okay. Regular fries it is.
I would say regular fries, definitely.
Or curly.
Nope,
fries.
Regular.
Okay. All right. Tea is better than coffee.
Oh, I don't know. I got my Nussbaum cup filled with coffee right now.
Okay.
I do like tea just as much as coffee, so I'd probably lean on the tea, just barely, but probably more on the tea side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You like the variety of tea?
Yeah.
Different flavors.
Nussbaum has a mint flavored tea packet here that I really like. very minty,
Yeah.
very fresh feeling when you drink it.
Yeah. And that's another divisive question. You got your tea drinkers, you got your coffee drinkers, and then you have the people that are just water drinkers. So
Yeah.
it's a very divisive. It's either, tea, coffee.
Yeah.
It's good. Socks and sandals is a good match. Do you recommend this?
It seems like the move these days are that way.
Okay.
I would say yeah.
Okay.
Socks and sandals, yeah.
Okay. And that's a hot take also. Last hot take before we close this episode out. A loud exhaust is fun and good. Do you like loud exhaust?
To a certain degree,
Yeah.
I do. My Denali actually has a 6.2 liter V8 that has I don't know what's in it, but it sounds perfect. It's got a nice rumble to it. It's kind of loud,
Yeah.
but not cackly, obnoxiously loud,
Yeah.
When you're cruising down the highway at 60
Right.
mile an hour
Yep.
on a US 24, you don't really hear it.
And you could make the case that you're actually safer with a louder exhaust because then people know where you are.
Yeah.
Do you drive a motorcycle?
I do have
Okay.
a motorcycle.
Yeah. So I mean, it probably got a little bit of a
It's
loudness.
a 2009 Harley Davidson Street Glide maroon colored, and it's got a Reinhardt pipes on it,
Okay.
so it's got a little pep to it,
Uh-huh.
and yeah,
Yeah. Do you like taking that out for cruises?
I do. I'm very picky when I ride it, and I shouldn't be because I don't get to ride it enough, but it's like showroom clean. I got that
Really?
thing always shining.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got to be like, I'm a fair weather rider. Some of our drivers are probably going to laugh at that. I can think of one who probably would laugh at that right now, Mike Klein. But yeah, so I do enjoy riding it, and I do enjoy the louder exhaust pipes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you're riding a motorcycle, it actually might not be that bad if you're on the highway and you have a louder vehicle, and it's like people are going to know where you're at.
Yeah.
So I can see the case for that.
Yeah.
Kind of being allowed. But it's a hot take. Not everyone likes it. You know?
not
Depends how
everybody
you
does.
use it. Maybe if you're, some people ride around Uptown Circle and
Right.
normal, and we'll just
Yeah.
rev around. And anyways, so yeah, that's great. Thanks for answering that. So Mike
sure.
Klein rides too.
Yeah, he's got a Victory bike, I think he said he's got. So
Okay. Cool.
he rides everywhere.
Really?
Florida, recently he did a trip down to Key West, Florida, I think.
No way.
Somewhere, and then back up here. So
Do you ever do any long rides like that?
I haven't yet.
Mm-hmm.
One of these days I'd like to ride out to Denver, Colorado, and ride around the Rocky Mountains with Dad, maybe on his motorcycle.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sweet. It's a good hobby. We could have a whole episode on riding motorcycles probably,
Yeah.
but we won't. Thank you for being on today. Really appreciate you being here, sharing who you are. Thank you for our listeners for tuning in. Is there anything else you would like to share for the people listening out there? Shout outs to family or friends.
Just thank you, drivers, all you who continue to be purpose driven. It means a lot for an employee owned business, and continue to do that. We appreciate it. It really makes there's a saying that goes, teamwork makes the dream work. And everybody that enjoys their job here really believes that saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So continue to be purpose driven in everything we do.
Yeah, it's a great message. Great way to close out our episode. So thank you again. And until next time, own every moment and stay purpose driven.
Hi everyone, this is CJ from Recruiting at Nussbaum, and I'd love to answer any questions you have about driving with us. Give us a call at 309-268-1199 or visit nussbaumjobs.com. Talk to you soon. You've been listening to Terminal Exchange, the official podcast of Nussbaum Transportation. If you're enjoying our content, please leave us a review. Your reviews help us spread the word about these important topics and invite more people into the conversation. You can rate and review us on your podcast app or visit us online at terminalexchange.org. New episodes arrive every other Tuesday, so be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow Nussbaum on your favorite social media platforms and be the first to know when new episodes are released. Thanks for listening. Until next time, own every moment and stay purpose-driven.